Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
You know, Matti, it's in weeks like this that I feel like maybe I should become more of a believer. When you feel so down, you feel like you have to resort to some sort of belief or faith into some religion or creed, so just that you can feel whole with yourself, to feel devoid of your existence.
It is a very common reaction when a human faces the great mishappening. There's this feel to get help from something mightier than a human individual.
I cannot argue or even provide reasonable logic proof or empirical proof that religion is all make-believe born from the need of man to actually understand, to grasp the infinity of the universe and how and not to come into terms of how insignificant it is in the face of the universe. It is all such a bleak and constant changing circle of birth and death and rebirth that at some point will all end into some sort of nothing, and it's like we never existed to begin with.
Yeah, that's
we all
why.
Exist, life, there is life, and then there is death, and maybe there is life again.
Yeah, that's why it's not based on knowledge but on faith. That believing in things when you don't have any evidence.
Sometimes I wonder, why do we even bother with existing? How blissful it would be just not being, experiencing not being as some sort of entity that basically, what's the term I'm looking for, is beyond simple concepts as life and death and universe and everything. And such a bummer. Okay, with that said, let's read a fanfiction titled Fluttershy ST with Jesus.
Yep, this exists.
Well, I hope you like the introduction, everyone. Hope I give you something meaty to fill your mind with, to ponder in your restless night terrors, so to speak. Okay, so Fluttershy ST with Jesus, written by Retsamore. Okay. It's a one-shot, and it's tagged as comedy, random, slice of life, and human. Those are actual genres of fanfiction, by the way. So, here's the synopsis. Fluttershy has tea with Jesus and absolutely nothing objectionable happens. I have to be completely honest with you, I picked this one to read just because it was titled Fluttershy ST with Jesus. I mean, how could I not be somewhat curious about a fiction called Fluttershy ST with Jesus? I don't know what to expect from it because I haven't read it yet. Yes, this is going to be yet another blind read of us. Neither of us has read it before, so this is going to be a new experience to experience together and all that. Maybe, who knows? Let's see if at the end of the path we shall find enlightenment, or if we'll go straight to hell. Either way, this might be blasphemous. Oh gee, I hope so at this point. Okay, so let's actually read this thing and see what it entails.
Okay.
Okay, I am going to start, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Jesus Has Tea with Fluttershy by Red's smiley kitten face. Anyway. To say that it was a beautiful day in Equestria was a lot like saying Fluttershy was good with animals. Because it's always a good day, apparently. That's the joke, in case you Okay. Birds were chirping in a controlled panic, as if each shrill peep would be its last, while flowers gently rolled in the wind like they strived to be stalks of wet. Silly amounts of woodland creatures scurried about, much like woodland creatures generally do, and each bore an unsettling smile on its face. Okay, now I'm imagining hamster with a creepy grin, smiling like the Joker for some reason.
Yeah, although on the art style the show is showing it, I don't picture it that threatening. Although when
You haven't met my hamsters. Anyway, at least it would look unsettling in any other setting, but here in Equestria it was fairly common occurrence, much like breathing if you went around asking ponies. The ever-free forest groaned. Yes, apparently forests can groan. Go figure. And slowly slunk its millennia-old body across the landscape, its very heart beating only once per year. It is commonly thought that the Ursa Major is the largest sentient being in existence. By the way,
I know Ursa Major is a freaking bear.
Okay, so you actually have been watching episodes after all.
Yeah, I watched couple more after the last time.
Okay, since you know... Okay, so you met the great and powerful Trixie!
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you something about Trixie. She's one of those characters in which the fandom has been phoning over since 2010.
She's an annoying bitch.
Everybody loves her because of that, actually. You know, because she is extremely quotable. But also, you have to think about it this way, from her point of view. She is an entertainer who basically was doing a classic magic show / bragging thing. And all the ponies there didn't really have to get involved in her bragging. They could have just, you know, trot away. But the fact that they get involved, they end up validating her bitchiness with their own bitchiness. Let's just say that that episode in question has a lot of problems that many have been dissecting over the years, but all in all, everybody kind of agreed that Trixie is the best thing about it. Oh, she'll come back in season 3, and by the way, there are tons of fanfictions about Trixie and that want to explore her characters beyond the stereotype, and we're getting off topic. It's too early on. Okay, so we're talking about an Ursa Major being the largest sentient being in existence, but those in the know happen to be very aware that the assumption was fake. Well, the Ursa Major is pretty huge. The Everfree was a massive turtle of a creature, reaching its flippers around the world in its never-ending mission, which only it knew of. Its focus, as it had been for decades, was turning towards a spot upon itself that had been rudely chopping it into bits with tiny tools. It had yet to realize, but a small town had taken up residence around where its right kidney should have been. Okay, I'm not sure what any of these have to do with Jesus, but okay. On the very edge of that town was a cottage, which contained one of the 4 beings that had figured out that the Everfree was more of a creature than a forest. One lived near its spleen, and the other 2 atop a mountain. I'm not sure how I feel about this description of the Everfree forest as a sentient being that basically with a sentient intelligence. I feel it would be more fascinating and mysterious, the idea of an ancient, powerful entity with no clear limits or definitive intentions. It's more mysterious and more ambiguous and more interesting altogether.
Is that the forest a living being in the series as well?
Well, let's put it this way. Season 4.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
When you'll get there, you see. Her name was Fluttershy, and it will take the Everfree more than a century to receive the news that she is currently having tea with a pleasant stranger who had shown up at her door. On any other day, she might have denied such a request and hidden under the couch for an hour, but today she was feeling rather peculiar. Almost, perhaps, brave.
Well, Jesus has that effect on beings.
Well, she has her moments of absolute bravery. That cannot be denied. As the good doctor once said, true bravery does not come from not knowing fear. It comes from knowing fear and acting against it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. This is quite the paraphrasing of the original sentence. So by that logic, Fluttershy should be the bravest creature who ever lived, because she's afraid of everything, but she would face all her fears in the name of friendship. Have you seen the episode with the dragon yet?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good episode. It's like The Hobbit, but with ponies. If one were to be granted the knowledge, they would see that this was predetermined. She would be brave, and it did not matter why she had come to that decision, because it was predetermined that the fates didn't need a reason. So we're going with that angle, aren't we? Okay, you're still relatively new with the show, but the show has an interesting, unique angle when it comes to fate and destiny. Now, let's put it this way: the angle that the show goes with this theme is that destiny is basically like a paved road that's been built in advance, but even though it's a paved road, it is still a road, and you actually have to thread upon that road to reach a destination. You can choose to do it. You can also choose not to. So I'm going to use this metaphor and leave it here.
So there's technically no fate?
No, there's definitely there definitely are forces beyond our comprehension there. There's an ambiguity in that, and also it's not fully explained, which leaves room to interpretation, and that's a good thing. But it doesn't deny individuality, so to speak. The paved road. A paved road alone, it's useless if nobody uses it. If nobody uses it to go somewhere. Get it? It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
You know what? Just watch the entire show. Then we'll have this conversation again. Okay. So it came to pass that Fluttershy would be sitting on a soft pillow made of fine royal purple, laced with golden strands that some beautiful maiden must sorely miss. Opposite her, on a similar but far more burdened pillow, was a well-built man in a white robe. What skin she could see was tanned and muscular, calloused from years of hard work. Yes, because Jesus was actually a,
carpenter.
Exactly. It wasn't what he looked like. It wasn't what he looked like that mattered. It was the fact that he was there in the first place. There being Equestria and generally with him part of an improbability curve. Oh, is that a reference to Ichiko's Guide to the Galaxy? I see an asterisk.
Yeah, it may have been way down there, but okay, I might miss the spot if I look for it.
You know what? Let's wait until the end. The mysterious being took a light drink of the tea, a fine herbal brown that had scented the backyard with whatever flavor it was. Fluttershy coughed nervously, something that every intelligent being, whether it is physically capable or not, does at some point in its life. Was there even a point in saying something so obvious? At the man gazing thoughtfully over his raised teacup. For a moment, She stared at him with an open-mouthed expression of awe, only closing it at the sound of porcelain colliding with wood. Her concentration shattered. She blinked and looked at the newcomer as if she had only just noticed him. Okay, it was... I so wish the bar was here. He does a perfect Fluttershy. Okay, so I'm going to try and do Fluttershy. You'll be Jesus, okay? Finish Jesus. Finish Jesus. How is Jesus pronounced in Finnish, by the way?
Jesus.
Okay, you'll be Jesus then.
Okay.
She started, lower lip quivering to the point where it weren't attached to her face. It would have jumped off and run for its life. So, Mr. Jesus? I don't know. Something about this line cracks me up. Oh, Mr. Jesus. Okay, Mr. Jesus. Let's see. Mr. Jesus, please.
You may just call me Jesus, child. What questions do you have for me?
The man responded, resting his thick hands on his lap. Beneath his beard was a smile so soft, the pillow under him felt a twinge of envy. Okay, Jesus, I was just wondering, what are you? That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, this alien creature, that may or may not have descended from a monkey. See what I did there? I threw in some little creationism versus evolutionism controversy for the sake of a joke.
According to the Bible,
I am so going to hell for this.
According to the Bible, he's all man and all God at the same time.
Sure, okay. I'll let them believe what they want to believe. Who am I to judge? I'm not them. I don't judge. Oh, I'm getting so many enemies because of this. Okay, she asked. He raised a bushy eyebrow. Taking another methodical swallow of tea, he lowered it to the table with perfect practiced grace and opened his mouth to speak. Fluttershy took a quick swig, if only not to seem rude in front of a guest.
Physically man,
he answered plainly, eyes flickering to a couple of birds as they raced each other overhead, with murderous gleams in their eyes.
Your home is lovely. Do you enjoy yourself here? I have known many to dislike such seclusion.
Oh yes, I love it here. Oh, the beautiful birdies and the animals to keep me company. And it's not that far from town. Where are you from?
Immaterial.
You mean, Immaterial, New Jersey? or Immaterial in West Newbury, Massachusetts. I am joking about that some of Americans towns have silly names. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Get it? I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
Immaterial, he answered. A short silence slipped in, looked around, then slunk away. That's a pretty name, said Fluttershy, looking up as a cloud floated overhead. Jesus followed her gaze, as his soft smile seemed to grow even larger and softer, the laws of physics and logic bending to accommodate it. Oh, it's Jesus, all right. It's very peaceful here. That's another reason I like it, she continued.
Such peace gives you time to meditate on life and its many wonders, does it not?
He asked, eyes seamlessly looking where she was. Above, the clouds seemed to get the message and slowly morphed into the vague shape of a butterfly. You know, Jesus is actually stealing the job from the Pegasi here. Weather control belongs to Pegasi. Don't steal their jobs, Jesus.
Yeah, I was wondering about that from this series. Don't they allow nature to take care of all these year changed cycles and stuff.
Isn't it an interesting world, Equestria, though? Because you have to ponder how such things work. Okay, so basically, the main reason why the Everfree Forest is so scary to them is because that part of the world follows the natural laws of our world. You know, animals fending for themselves and predators and prey. The weather is uncontrollable, and also there are monsters. But that's the interesting part. So basically, everything is controlled manually, so to speak, by the ponies in one way or the other, or at least their portion of the world. Now, the world is a large place, so I don't know how other races, because there are other races, mind you, work out the details, but you have to consider the fact that there are two demigod princesses that basically lower the sun and the moon and allow basically the universe to rotate, the galaxy or the earth, or magic at some sort. Isn't it interesting? I mean, wow, you have these seemingly all-powerful entities that basically can control suns and moons, and then the weather is and everything, and right? Am I right? No?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it
Doesn't
interesting?
make sense.
Well, actually, of course it doesn't make sense compared to our world. The beauty of its own fantasy world, you can create your own rules for it. So, and also, okay, so all ponies have some sort of inherent magic, because, okay, if you want to know why, okay, magic is determined mostly by. This is a world in which raw emotions and feelings can literally become weapons of magic. There is magic floating around in the world. Ponies are made of magic, and where the magic, and I won't tell you where the magic is all coming from. That you had to find it for yourself. But at some point there is an explanation that from a fantasy perspective actually works quite well within what we know about the universe up until that point. Okay, there is a reason why friendship is magic, as the title says. It's actually more complex than the simplicity of the concept. But anyway, where was I?
Which was to say exactly like a butterfly.
Huh.
I think.
Which was to say, clouds in Equestria were fickle things, and ones from the Everfree seemed to be the only ones that understood their own capabilities. I guess so. I don't think peace needs a lot of meditation to be, understood. You're just supposed to enjoy it, I think.
That is a good way of putting it,
said Jesus. An awkward silence peered through a crack in the door, slipping in when it thought the two weren't looking, and promptly sat on their heads. An awkward silence did all this. Apparently awkward silence has to be a person. Only the occasional sip of tea interrupted the awkward silence, but this one was smart, and smothered the noise with itself as soon as it died off. Again, we're talking about Mr. Awkward Silence here.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a character.
I'm conflicted about this writing style. On the other hand, the attention to details is admirable and kind of old school writing, but it
not really. Actually, not really. It's not really all that particularly detailed storytelling, and believe you me, I've seen how really detailed writing can get, even in fanfictions, especially in fanfictions. Sometimes it goes completely overboard. Now the wording, the phrasing is simple. The composition, on the other hand, makes it look more like something refined to read out loud, as I'm doing right now. but it will all amount to nothing if this conversation here doesn't have any other meaning than its own, basically, self-complacement. Basically, this could either have the intention of the author writing something like this because, you know what, I'm going to write this because ha 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 ha, I can do this, see if I can do it, maybe I'm pretentious, or maybe there is an intent that the writer said, maybe I can craft something thematically relevant out of this scenario.
Yeah, I can't yet decide is this a style pretentious or not.
Well, we're barely a quarter through the story, so...
Yeah.
So far I appreciate they haven't descended into some sort of aimless philosophical conversation about the nature and the meaning of life. So far they're having kind of a casual conversation, which is perhaps the best way to actually commune philosophical concepts, you know, through means that actually don't seem bloated with their own pretentiousness. Okay, silence again. A bird landed next to Fluttershy, and the two took a moment to smile at it. A few meters away, obscured by the tree, a flower bloomed, and a chicken clucked.
"'Tis tea is well made,"
said Fluttershy's companion. You know, I sure hope this won't give birth to a whole side subculture in the franchise that wants to ship Jesus with Fluttershy. A rubbed arm reached over to the heavily decorated neon pink teapot. A nervous cough and yellow oof interrupted him. The cough coming from Fluttershy, not the hoof. No da, Captain Genius. Allow me, please, and, thank you. It's a recipe that my mother used to make when it was raining outside, and I don't exactly make it as well as she did. She trailed off, letting the gentle flowing of the tea do the talking for her. She leaned back in her seat, stopping halfway to look at a different neon pink item. Okay, whenever you say neon pink, I think of some for some reason it comes to mind neon pink Evangelion. I don't know. Seems like a funny name for a parody. I don't know, neon. At least it has a nice ring to it. Neon pink Evangelion. Imagine that. Instead of Shinji, instead of Shinji piloting the Eva, we had Pinkie Pie piloting the Eva, and everything is 100% more fun.
Yeah,
for a change.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard it's pretentious.
Pretentious doesn't even come close to describe it. Believe me. Would you like any sugar?
No, thank you, Fluttershy.
Jesus leaned in to take the cup. Miss Bell here, nodding in appreciation while she drank from her own.
I was never one for sugar. Your mother has crafted an excellent recipe, and even if you cannot perfectly replicate it like you wish you could, you give a splendid attempt and honor your mother in holding it to such high esteem. What of your friends, though? When you first opened your door to answer me, you mentioned that you had scheduled a get-together with them later in the day.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fluttershy squeaked, slowly curling in herself like a roly-poly. What in blazes is a roly-poly?
It's kind of a lollipop.
You know what a roly-poly is?
I haven't seen one, but I can guess it's a lollipop.
So many wonders, so many questions. Oh, such mystifying items do exist in the universe. The world is such a lovely place to live in. It's a great day to be alive. Because of roly-polies. Okay, I panicked and lied. Oh wait, I panicked and lied. You're not mad, are you? She asked, looking over a raised hoof. Jesus said placidly, pink teacup in one hand. Are you? Okay.
I just visioned that sight in my head. She's
What?
drinking from a pink teacup.
Ah.
No, my dear, I am not.
He set down the teacup, sighing and gently as the wind.
But
The wind isn't always gentle, you know. What if it's a tornado or a twister or a...
But it is noble of you to apologize, and I forgive you. What of your friends, though? They sound like interesting ponies.
He asked. I wonder what the Christians would think about Jesus being a brony.
Well, at least he's not a pony in this story.
Oh, well, technically Twilight Sparkle is already Pony Jesus, so you'll see that later on. I guess they're interesting, she mused, looking up at the blooming tree overhead. In one of the branches was a nest in which 2 robins were visible. I really like them. Sometimes I wish I could see them more. But lately I've been really busy taking care of the animals.
Have they been giving you trouble lately?
No. Well, I mean, I guess they have, but I'm the only one in Ponyville that knows how to take care of them properly. It's my duty to them. She took a deep, tragically heroic breath and continued, okay? Tragically heroic breath, okay? And continued observing the birds as they fluttered to and fro amongst the branches. I just haven't had the time for my friends, she sniffed, watching in admiration as the mother fed its young via vomiting into their mouths, and the image is completely ruined. Just the wrong word at the wrong time. Unless that was the intention, but it doesn't fit with the rest of the tone, if you ask me.
Feeding would have probably been better verb. Then make time, Jesus
said, taking a long sip of tea, just after the words left his lips. Fluttershy jerked her attention from the birds, gave it a rousing speech from the confines of her subconsciousness, and planted it right in front of Jesus like a mother dropping her child off at a new school. What? Was the only word that was able to make it past her mental filters and out of her mouth, and even then it only managed to come out a whisper.
Make time.
How are you, gentlemen? All your bays are belong to us. You had no way to survive. Make your time.
What?
That's what make time made me think of. I had it on the edge of my brain for the past couple of sentences. Now I had to get it out. Sorry. I just had to. Sometimes you cannot help things from happening.
Yeah, your pop culture reference thing in your brain is triggered in weird places.
Yeah, for example, Neon and Pink made me think of a parody of Neon Genesis Evangelion starring Pinkie Pie. My brain is such a wonderful place. Jesus repeated, as if that explained everything. Oh, that explains everything! Speaking of references. How do I do that? I don't think even unicorns can make time. Oh yeah? Give Twilight Sparkle a few more one more season. Let's see if she cannot actually create time at this point. It's not a spoiler, Matty. I'm just foreshadowing things.
Yeah.
Fluttershy whispered, her eyes drifting down to her tea. What she didn't know was that, technically, unicorns could actually make time, and there you go. It was an expert-level spell and took many decades to master for even the most experienced unicorns, and by then they were dead. Okay, I know what's going on here. this writer is trying so hard, very so hard, to sound like Douglas Adams. You know, are you familiar with the writing style of Douglas Adams?
Yeah, I've read
Yes.
all the 6 books from that
So,
Hitchhiker's Guide from Galaxy series.
So you told me before, yes. So you are familiar that he tends to have this deadpan, distance tone of writing, and then he casually gets into side bits of information that basically amount to some sort of joke, relying on your preconceived knowledge of how science fiction works. So basically, they're doing the same, but with what he has to work with within the fantasy universe. Except these jokes don't really work, and they feel more like forced or even distracting from the centerpiece of it all, which is this conversation between Fluttershy and Jesus that alone should be a topic of interest.
Yeah, I didn't even register that last sentence as a joke.
And that's the problem, really. Either you have it in you to make this kind of humor, my kind of dry humor work, or maybe you just sound out of place. Anyway.
I will leave that for you to meditate on, my dear.
He paused just long enough to consume more of the tea.
But if you truly love your friends, then it will become obvious to you soon enough. It merely takes patience of the mind and heart.
Oh. Fluttershy shook her head, looking past her tea and at the ground under her head. I don't think I know what you're talking about. Why can't you just tell me? Because he wouldn't be Jesus otherwise.
Some epiphanies must be earned, not given. Is that one of your friends now?
He asked, gesturing his teacup to the path leading to Fluttershy's house. Woo! Okay, other ponies are coming. Let's see their reaction to this. Through the blooming, flower-filled trees, a vague lavender oh, this is just perfect. Regular Jesus, meet Pony Jesus. A vague lavender shape could be seen bobbing down the path towards the front door. Oh yes, it's definitely Twilight Sparkle, and I bet she's going to have a lot of questions. That's her thing, really. Between the birds chirping, the bees buzzing, and the nature making an absolute mess of things, a very faint sound could be heard from the purple blob. It was humming. Oh my, I think that's Twilight. I better go get her. I'll be right back, Mr. Jesus, I promise. Mr. Jesus still makes me smile, she said, sliding off of her pillow. Her obscenely long, curled pink mane and tail bounced as she trotted by, disappearing around the hedge of the house. A few multicolored birds and various woodland creatures immediately came from the woodwork of the home, rushing to follow their caretaker to greet her guest. All of them left, in fact, save for a small chickadee that looked like he most certainly was the runt of the litter, and was probably made fun of in school. This particular chickadee landed on the edge of Jesus' raised teacup mid-sip. He gently lowered it, and smiled down at the bird.
Hello,
Jesus said. The bird tweeted back, and he blinked. Oh, wait, they have Twitter in Equestria? I didn't know that. Hey, I bet he brought up his phone and started digiting and basically leaving a tweet on his account and says, "Hey guys, thoughts hanging out with Jesus, LOL," or something like that. It may be beneficial to point out that all animals in Equestria are somewhat intelligent. That is a point of contention. And while ponies are in fact the second most intelligent, birds are the third. Oh no, he's going for a Douglas Adams homage here.
So what are the most intelligent race?
So if you're going to tell me it's either lab rats or bunnies, I'm going to shut this fanfiction closed. Anyway, the exact intelligence level of the many species on the planet have been argued over for centuries, since so many of them are capable of arguing that they are the smartest. But unknown to them, the exact smartest of them all has been plainly obvious since the argument began. That would be butterflies. Okay, I was not expecting butterflies.
Me neither.
Okay, several of them. I cannot help but feel that we're actually getting off topic. Again, if you're not Douglas Adams, making this work is going to be hard. Several of them were fluttering around a yellow and a lavender pony, not at all caring about the invasion of personal space and caring even less about the conversation going on between them.
I'm not even fully grasped what the actual topic is.
Well, if you have to take this at face value, is Fluttershy having tea with Jesus? Okay. I don't think this has any topic whatsoever. It's just something that happens for the sake of happening. I mean, up until this point, that seems to be the case. Okay, this one talking is Twilight. Oh boy, how to do Twilight's voice. So, okay, you know what? Just to make things fun. There is no way, no how any of us can even come close to emulate the great Tara Strong. So,
Wait, okay.
So Matti, why don't you do one of your funny voices with your funny accent to do Twilight's voice?
So the girls and I thought we'd have a picnic today, but we know how busy you've been lately.
Okay, you almost sound like Photo Finish, which is an actual character in the show.
Oh, okay.
Seriously. If this fiction had Photo Finish in it, it would have been perfect, but try a different voice, please.
Well, I'll try the normal. It wouldn't be the same without you, so I just wanted to come over and make sure you're free ahead of time.
Twilight said, smiling the generic smile of one friend happy to see another friend. Fluttershy returned the gesture, but hers was more adorable. Eee! The demure Pegasus looked solemnly at the ground. I'm sorry, Twilight, but I have been rather busy. I took a break for some tea, but... She trailed off, eyes swiveling upwards to meet Twilight's happy, expectant gaze. Perhaps it was the things of fate. Perhaps it was the strings of fate being pulled again, or a happy coincidence. But something in that momentary glance made Fluttershy think and make a discovery for the ages. Okay, okay. The mention of the strings of fate made me think of the Legacy of Kain series.
Legacy of Kain.
Yes,
yeah.
Series that's kind of obsessed with the idea.
Yeah,
of
I've
fate
played all the 5 games.
Yes, the series is kind of obsessed with the whole idea of fate and inevitability and all that, which it gets kind of annoying at some point, especially if how convoluted the plot is.
Yeah, it's mostly because those characters are sometimes really stupid.
Well, other than that, yes. Anyway, apparently Fluttershy has reached some sort of epiphany. Actually, she started, taking a deep breath, I'd love to go on a picnic with you girls. I'll just have to work extra hard later, but if it means spending time with you, it will be worth it. Fluttershy, making time.
Hey!
Twilight said, a beaming smile crossing her face.
After the picnic we can all help you take care of the animals. That way you don't have to work as hard. Can we do that for you, Fluttershy?
She took a step back from her unicorn friend, a smile threatening to overtake her face. That would mean a whole lot to me, Twilight. It shouldn't be too hard. I can go tell Angel to... She stopped mid-turn, eyes widening. Oh, Jesus!
What?
Oh, it's funny because, oh Jesus, it will be a kind of a swear in our world, but in the pony world, hey, there's literally Jesus over there. So hi Jesus, I almost forgot about you, and it's funny. Anyway, I completely forgot. Twilight, I met a new friend, and I think you'll love him. Okay, okay, if they are going to go back there, and then they find out that Jesus has somehow vanished, I'm going to be very angry. Anyway, Fluttershy exclaimed, making an unearthly squeaking sound that would have caused multiple heart attacks had anyone been watching. She grabbed Twilight by her forelegs and puttered her wings as hard as she could, and probably harder than physically possible. With her friend in tow and the wind blowing back her silken mane, she zipped around her house to the backyard, where she knew Jesus would be sitting cross-legged on his pillow, sipping unsugared tea from a pink cup. And he wasn't, naturally. Such is the way of these encounters. Could you possibly be more predictable?
Fluttershy, there's no pony here.
Twilight said in her usual bookish tone. She was seconds away from breaking out her emergency spectacles and giving her creamy friend an impromptu physiological evaluation when she spotted a note left next to a full and steaming hot cup of tea. The Pegasus and Unicorn stared blankly at it, and the latter encased it in a simple levitation spell. Deciding she didn't need to use her emergency spectacles, Twilight read the note aloud.
My apologies for leaving without a goodbye. Late for a book club, Jay.
And then there is this huge blank space, and then there is the explanation for the phrase that had the asterisk earlier on that says, which was cozily positioned right between a universe full of giant space turtles and a universe where everything was made up of black holes. Yep, Douglas Adams. What did I tell you? Okay, this was a complete waste of time. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was a kind of a dull side.
Okay, so...
But at least Jesus was in character.
Here's the thing. This author clearly wanted to play it safe. So instead of going into some sort of uber complex details about the nature of existence and religion and all that, he simply had Jesus acting the role of acting the role that will usually be applied to magical black men. You know, that they exist solely to inspire the white man to do the right thing. So that's what he does for Fluttershy. They have a conversation, he tells you, hey, make time for your friends, and she does, and that's the end of it. Not really much to think about this. It is as simple as it sounds. Well, I guess that's that. Hey, Matti.
We can do another fanfic too, if you like.
You read my mind, old friend. Bring it on.